will I have to call a plumber and a carpenter? I guess we have to find out. The countertop opening measures 60 centimeters along its major axis and measures 40 centimeters along its minor axis. That's my evidence piece number 1. The new sink I found online, 64 by 38 centimeters. That's exhibit B. Now, the problem is simple to state. Will a 64 by 38 centimeter sink fit into a 60 by 40 centimeter elliptical opening? To solve this mystery, we need to bring out the big guns. The equation of an ellipse. Every ellipse has a unique fingerprint, its equation in standard form. Let's reveal the ellipse's secret identity. The standard form of an ellipse looks like this. X squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. Please take note that if you're given the full lengths, which in our scenario is the 60 by 40 centimeter of the countertop and the 64 by 38 centimeter of the sink, you must divide those full values by 2 to get A and B. Why? Because A and B measure from the center to the edge, not the whole line across. Here's evidence piece number 1, the given measurements. The shop gave full dimensions, like the 60 by 40 of the countertop and the 64 by 38 centimeter dimensions of the sink. To put this into the formula, we divide by 2. Now we have A and B for both ellipses, and we can write their equations. So in the countertop, the length of major axis will be divided by 2. So 60 divided by 2 is 30. Now the value of RA will be equal to positive negative 30. On the other hand, in the minor axis of the countertop, we will be also dividing it into 2. 40, our minor axis, will be divided into 2, which will be equivalent to 20. Now B is equals to positive negative 20. In exhibit B, or our sink, the length of our major axis, which is 64, will be also divided into 2, which will result into 32. That is why A is equal to positive negative 32 in our exhibit B. On the other hand, for our minor axis, we will be needing to divide 38, the length of our minor axis, into 2, which will result to 19. That is why B in our exhibit B is equals to positive negative 19. Now we have our evidence piece number 2, form the equations. We already mentioned earlier that the standard form equation of an ellipse is x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1. In our given, we will be needing the value of a squared and b squared. Now that we have the values of a and b, we will simply square the values we have. So for the countertop or exhibit A, our value of A is positive negative 30. In order to get the value of A squared, we will just simply get the value of 30 squared, which results to positive negative 900. For the minor axis or the B, we will just square the value of 20, which is 400. Now that we got the values of a squared and b squared, we will just have to substitute it in the standard form. So the standard form of our exhibit A, or the countertop, is x squared over 900 plus y squared over 400 equals 1. We will be applying the same process in our exhibit B, or the sink. We already got the value of A and B for our exhibit B, which is 32 for the value of A and 19 for the value of B. To get A squared and B squared for the standard form, we will just need to square those values. So for A squared, 32 squared is equals to positive negative 1024. And B squared is equals to 19 squared, or simply positive negative 361. Due to these numbers, we can now settle and establish the standard form equation of exhibit B, which will be x squared over 1024 plus y squared over 361 equals 1. Now these are the two standard form equations. Each tells how wide and tall the ellipse is relative to the center. With these, we can compare every property we need. Rule number 1. Compare the axes. Let's see what we got so far. So for the countertop, we have 30 centimeters as the value of A, 20 centimeters as the value of B, 60 centimeters as the length of the major axis, and 40 centimeters as the length of the minor axis. On the other hand, for the newly bought sink, we have 32 as the value of A, 19 as the value of B, 64 centimeters as the length of the major axis, and 38 centimeters as the length of the minor axis. For centered aligned ellipses, the fit rule is simple. The inner ellipse fits only if both its major and minor axes are less than or equal to the outer ellipse's corresponding axis. Here's the sink's major axis. Here in our problem, the sink's major axis, 64, is greater than the countertop's major axis, which is 60. That's our primary problem, the first major red flag. The sink's major axis is greater than the countertop's major axis. 64 is greater than 60. Let's continue. In solving for the vertices of a horizontal ellipse, we follow the formula or the ordered pair, positive, negative A, and 0. So far, we have already determined the values of A of both ellipses. The countertop has positive, negative 30, and the new sink has a value of A of positive negative 32 centimeters. In order to get the vertices of each ellipse, we will just be needing to substitute the value of A into the x of the ordered pair. So vertex 1 will be positive 30 and 0, and vertex 2 will be negative 30 and 0. In the countertop or exhibit A. In exhibit B, we have the value of A, positive negative 32. So in our new sink, vertex 1 will be positive 32 and 0, and vertex 2 will be negative 32 and 0. In order to get the co-vertices of each ellipse, all we need to do is substitute the value of B into the y of the ordered pair. For the countertop, our B1 or our co-vertices 1 will be 0 and positive 20. And our B2 will be 0 and negative 20, since our value of B for the countertop is positive negative 20. For the new sink, since we have the value of B of positive negative 19, we will substitute it to the y or the k position of the ordered pair. So our B1 will be 0 and positive 19, and our B2 will be 0 and negative 19. Next, we will be needing the value of the foci. foci are special internal points. We find them with c squared over a squared minus b squared. The foci is basically the value of c. In order to find the foci of our exhibit A or the countertop, we will be needing the value of our a squared and b squared. Our a squared is 900 and our b squared is 400 in our exhibit A. So 900 minus 400 is equal to 500. So basically, in our exhibit A, our c raised to 2 is equal to 500. We will get the approximate value of 22.36. That will be the value of our c that we will be substituting for our foci. So for our exhibit A, we have 22.36 as our c. We will be substituting that value into the x position of the ordered pair. So our F1 will be positive 22.36 and 0, and our F2 will be negative 22 minus 36 and 0. For our exhibit B, we will do the same. We first find or get the value of a squared minus b squared. So our a squared in our exhibit B is 1024. And we will subtract 361, the value of b squared, into the 1024. So 1024 minus 361 is equals to 663. That will serve as our value of c squared. In order to get the value of c, again, we will just have to get the square root of the c squared, or in this case, 663. The square root of 663 has an approximate value of 25.75. That is why we will use that value, 25.75, in getting our foci in our exhibit B. So F1 will be positive 25.75 and 0, and F2 for exhibit B will be negative 25 minus 75 and 0. The sinks foci lie farther out. On the other side, it's stretched more horizontally. Next, let's determine the eccentricity and directrices of each of the following ellipses. In getting the eccentricity, we follow the formula E is equals to C over A. And for directrices, we follow the formula D is equals to A squared over C. Now that I've mentioned the formulas, we can say that the values needed in order to get the eccentricity and the directrices are A squared and C. For our countertop, let's first determine the value of our eccentricity. In our exhibit A or the countertop, we have the value of 30 as our A and 22.36 as our C. So to get eccentricity, we will be needing to divide 22.36 over 30, and that will result to 0.75. Eccentricity is a quick measure of stretch. The sinks is higher, meaning less round. Directrices are vertical guidelines. They help describe the curve's geometry. And in order to get the directrices of our exhibit A, we will be needing A squared, or in this case is 900, divided by C, or 22.36. So 900 divided by 22.36 is equal to positive negative 40.25. And that will serve as our directrices for that equation, or ellipse. For our exhibit B or the new sink, in order to get eccentricity, we will be dividing C, or 25.75, over A, which is 32 in this ellipse. So 25.75 over 32 is equal to 0.81, which means 0.81 is our eccentricity for our new sink. In order to find the directrices of our Exhibit B, or the new sink, all we need to do is get the value of A squared, which in this case is 1024, and divide it into the value of C, which is 25.75. So 1024 divided by 25 minus 75 has an approximate value of positive negative 0.75. This means that our directrices for the new sink is positive negative 0.75. Lastly, we will be needing to determine the length of lactus rectum of both our ellipses. In order to get the LLR, or the length of lactus rectum, we follow the formula 2p squared divided by A. So for our Exhibit A, or the countertop, we have 400 as our B squared and 30 as our A. So we will just be needing to multiply 400 into 2. And the result of it, we will be dividing into 30, which results to 26.67 centimeters, making it the length of our lactus rectum of our exhibit. For our Exhibit B, the new sink, we will follow the same process. Since 361 is the value of our B squared for Exhibit B, we will multiply 361 into 2. And whatever the result is, we will be dividing into 32, which results to 22.56 centimeters. The value of our LLR, or lactus rectum, in our Exhibit B. In summary, here is a list of all the values we have determined in this case. To summarize, here is a list of all the values or evidences we have discovered so far in our investigation. After analyzing the evidence, the truth came out clear. The new 64 by 38 centimeter sink didn't fit the countertop opening of 60 by 40 centimeters. The major axis is longer, 4 centimeters too wide, 2 centimeters overhang on each side. I already bought it before checking the math. Big mistake. Turns out, if I had calculated the ellipses first, the major and minor axis, the vertices, the eccentricity, I would have known right away that the sink wouldn't fit. This case taught me something. Math isn't just about numbers, about formulas. It's a tool for real-life decisions. It saves money, time, and even frustrations. Next time, I'll do the math before making a choice. Because in life, even in bathrooms, accuracy